Well, if you're just tuning into Coffee with Candace, I am so excited that I am getting to have a little visit with Codi. Codi is a recent graduate of the New Life Recovery Program at the Lydia House, and no small feat because we are in a pandemic, a crisis, and just experiencing homelessness in itself is traumatic, but to experience it when people are saying, shelter in place, stay at home, wash your hands, drink lots of water because you're wearing masks, you need to stay hydrated. But what if you don't have a home and you are experiencing homelessness? That is very traumatic. And yet to go through that experience and then graduate from a life-changing program really shows the endurance and the grit that someone has at this time in their life. Thank you, Codi, for I know this has been a very exciting day for you.
Yes, it has been.
You have had friends, you've had family here, and you are graduating from the New Life Recovery Program and starting new beginnings. But Codi, what was your life like, maybe as a child or even before coming through the doors of the Open Door Mission?
Before coming here, I don't feel like I was, like I had a purpose, that I was always kind of just drifting and just waiting for life to happen to me. And I had a good childhood. My mother passed away when I was young, when I was 14. And my adopted family had fostered me from then on. And, you know,
So really, during your teenage years, grew up in foster care.
right. And so it was really difficult.
Is it true, Codi, when you grow up in foster care, what really happens, like, when you age out of foster care? Like, for you, was that, like, a lot of turmoil as far as, where do I go when I finish school? Like, because...
For me it was, I felt like I had some support, from my family, that I still had them in my life, but that I felt like I was on my own, like I had to stand on my own, and that I was loved, but, not loved. Like I wanted my parents there, and I wanted,
emptiness.
Yes, emptiness, void. And I had my oldest son when I got married with him when I was 18, and so I devoted up my whole life after that to my children. And I threw myself into motherhood, and I didn't finish college, and I kind of just, threw myself into that, and that was my only purpose, was being a mother, which was absolutely important. But I didn't have my own identity, and I didn't know. I knew how to be a mother, and knew how to be a wife, but I did not know how to just be myself.
Codi, when did the bad choices start happening? Is there a point in your life where you can, like, pinpoint it? Or is it just like a series of events? I mean, you didn't have on your bucket list to experience homelessness and enter the Lydia House.
Right. No, I feel like it's kind of a series of events that, on and off, and I kind of attribute that same way with my walk with Christ, that, I would walk with him and I would be with him, and then I would kind of, walk away from him and drift. And that's kind of how addiction and issues in my life came. They would come and go like waves, but it really hit when I turned 30, and I couldn't ignore it.
Because there is a point where my life is unmanageable, and the days of using and not using come slower and shorter together, and it just becomes this vicious cycle.
Yeah.
When was it a point where enough is enough for you, Codi?
I feel like it was enough when I had to really take a good long look at myself at the beginning of this year and say, I haven't handled any of my mental health. I haven't walked with God. I don't know how to, I'm not living like a woman of God. I'm not the best mother I could be, the best daughter, the best sister, the best friend that I know I can be. I'm not living up to my potential. I'm just drifting. I'm just surviving. I'm not living. And I had a choice to join the program, and I threw myself into it. And
what was that like entering the first time? I mean, we're during a pandemic. Did you have to do the isolation? And how did that all, because it's not just experiencing homelessness, but hey, you got to wear a mask, wash your hands, take symptoms and temperature checks twice daily.
Yes, and I mean, it definitely, the whole, COVID period made me nervous. But prior to coming to the Lydia House, I was, very scared because I was homeless out there and not here yet. And that was scary for me because that's all I could think about was what if my children get it, what if I get it. And being here, being in the program, I didn't, when I first got here, I did my 3 days of isolation. I got out on my birthday.
How hard was isolation? Mentally to be in this area and not be able to just go and outside or just to talk to someone or any of those things. How hard was it for you? Because for some, not hard at all. For others, extremely difficult.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't really that hard because I felt safe. I felt like I was at peace, that I was okay, and I knew I was protected, and I wasn't worried about where I was going to lay my head that night, and that I would have a warm meal, and that I, had a warm shower and a warm bed to sleep in, and that was a comfort that I hadn't experienced in a long time.
Codi, that's such a good point because for those outside the doors of our campus, they have it so much worse and harder than those that enter the doors. Codi, when you think about today and how this marks a new beginning, what does your future look like? What kind of plans and goals do you have now?
It absolutely looks bright. I just feel like that there's endless possibilities now where before I wouldn't even dream that I could feel that way again. And I'm excited to sign up for school. I'm excited to work now because we're graduated, so I can get employment, find housing, and for my sons and I, and just go from there and see where life takes me and just move myself out of the way and let God direct me.
Codi, when you think about the program and over the last 6 months of curriculum and counseling, and is there any class that maybe sticks out to be, hey, this was probably my favorite class or favorite teacher?
I think one great program I feel like we had in class was Fresh Start. That was absolutely monumental for me.
Wow.
And I really do have a new heart. That was very good. I feel like all of our staff on campus in general, but definitely, inside of our doors, I didn't realize that they were all going to be the staff that I knew and loved. That before I was in class.
It's a lot different, isn't it?
It is
when you get healthy.
Right, it is, but it was so beautiful because I really got to know each of them individually, and I feel like I've learned so much. And John and Janelle, so wonderful with therapy, and just art therapy was very great. But everybody, I really can't necessarily pick a favorite. Fresh Start definitely opened the gate for me.
I love Fresh Start. It's a branch off of Fresh Hope. Brad Hoffs is just a wonderful writer, and the wonderful thing about Fresh Hope and Fresh Start is that there's groups all throughout our city, and so what a support network for you once you leave here, that you not only have yes, your church family and your 12-step support, but that you have that opportunity to go to that as well. And who starts new programs during a pandemic, but I'm so glad to hear that you enjoyed the art therapy and the art studio, because that was really, for us here, was really a step of faith to actually add art therapy. But we found that through so much of what we're hearing and seeing, that there's so much healing and so therapeutic. And so, well, we just want to say congratulations, Codi. We are so excited for you. We know that God has plans for you to prosper, and we just played a small part in that process, and He's not finished with you yet.
Yes, and I appreciate everything, Candace, because without you guys, I wouldn't have had this opportunity.
Thank you.
And I thank God every day that He put me in your path.
Wow. Well, God is not finished with me yet either, and I am so glad that Codi just shared a few minutes of her day with us to share snippets of the testimony of how God has worked in her life. And if you're tuning in and you maybe are at a place where you have a loved one, or you know someone themselves that are struggling with addiction, there is hope for you. There is hope for everyone. You can call 402-422-1111 and ask for staff on duty. If you are struggling with someone that you love that is just at the end of their rope, and maybe it's been time and time again, don't give up hope, because through Christ all things are possible. Cody, you're a natural. Thank you
Oh,
so
no,
much.
you are welcome.
Wow.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
9 minutes, 40 seconds.
There you go.
So perfect.
And I think
Well,
Laura
I
Jean
love
is waiting to talk to you. She's the one who's going to make your plaque. So I'll introduce you to her.
Yes.
What's that, dear?
I would love to get a photo of you two smiling together.
Oh,
You
sure.
guys are the cover of the Coffee with Candace on Facebook.
Yeah. Cody, you did a great job. Wow.
Candace, I appreciate you.
When you get settled, you'll have to come back and be a volunteer.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Thank you, dear, so much.
Yes.
And I'm going to introduce you to Miss Laura Jean.